In this video, we will cover NHLBI BioData Catalyst powered by PIC-SURE and review how to interpret the results of a query in Open PIC-SURE. Open PIC-SURE allows any user to search any clinical variable in PIC-SURE. There is no login required to access Open PIC-SURE. Additionally, there is no dbGaP authorization to access the data required, meaning that researchers with no login and no data access can use this to search variables of interest and perform feasibility studies to determine which data to request access to. Because there is no authorization required to use Open PIC-SURE, there are some pieces that have been implemented to protect participant-level data. The first is that only obfuscated aggregate counts of the participants are returned. This means that if less than 10 participants meet the inclusion criteria, it will be shown as less than 10. However, if no participants meet the inclusion criteria, the count will be shown as 0. Additionally, only phenotypic destigmatized variables are available for search. NHLBI has defined variables from the categories listed on the screen as sensitive information that should be excluded from Open PIC-SURE. We can see here that we have applied 3 filters to our query in Open PIC-SURE. We have used the DCC harmonized dataset, which we will discuss later in this video. The first filter we applied is on the variable for body mass index, filtered to participants with values between 20 and 50. The second filter applied was on the variable called indicates whether subject ever regularly smoked cigarettes. We included participants with any value for this variable. The third filter was applied on the subject's sex, where we filtered to include only female participants. For more information about how to find variables and apply variable level filters, please consult the other demonstration videos in the NHLBI BioData Catalyst Powered by PIC-SURE YouTube playlist. Before continuing with the interpretation of the results in Open PIC-SURE, let's discuss the TopMed DCC harmonized dataset. NHLBI BioData Catalyst, or BDC, powered by PIC-SURE, hosts several datasets from the NHLBI Transomics for Precision Medicine, or TopMed, program. The TopMed Data Coordinating Center, or DCC, curation team has identified 44 variables that are shared across 17 NHLBI studies and normalized the participant values for these variables. For more information on the individual datasets and variables included in the DCC harmonized dataset, please visit the BioData Catalyst Powered by PIC-SURE user guide, linked in the YouTube description of this video. There are 3 main parts of the results panel: the data summary, the tool suite, and the added variable filters box. The data summary box displays the total number of participants that meet the query criteria. Note that this count is obfuscated in Open PIC-SURE. In this example, this means that there are about 114,305 participants in the DCC harmonized dataset that have a body mass index between 20 and 50, have either never smoked or have smoked cigarettes, and are female. The plus or minus 3 is obfuscating this result. As shown in the initial query slide, the added variable filters box displays the variable level filters that have been applied to a query. In this example, we can see the filter on body mass index, indicates whether subject ever regularly smoked cigarettes, and subject sex variables. The final box to discuss is the tool suite. Here, there are several tools that can be useful in further understanding your cohort. Let's take a look at the Participant Counts by Study tool. Clicking on the Participant Counts by Study tool will open a table view that provides the obfuscated counts of participants that meet the query criteria per study. As we can see, each study is displayed as its own row in the table. For each study, the total obfuscated participant count based on the query is shown in the Counts column. In this example, we can see that there are 3,824 participants from the Hispanic Community Health Study of Latinos, or HCHS SOL, that fit our query criteria. In the Counts by Consent Code column, we can see that this value is broken down by consent group. For example, of the 3,824 participants that meet the criteria in HCHS SOL study, 1,125 of those are in the HMB-NPU consent group, and 2,699 are in the HMB consent group. It is important to note that any values between 1 and 9 are displayed as less than 10, while the participant counts of 0 are displayed as 0. If we are interested in requesting access to a study, we can click on the Request button in the Access column. By doing this, we will be directed to the study's dbGaP page, where we can learn more about the study and begin a data access request. This has been an overview of how to interpret the results of a query in Open PIC-SURE. Check out Open PIC-SURE at this link, or watch additional videos in the BDC Powered by PIC-SURE YouTube playlist.